Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Breakfast with Boom. Of course, I am your host, MrBooMStickXL. I have arranged an incredible list of topics. I have an incredible list of panel members. And if you've not heard, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 apparently seems to be pretty good and it's selling like hotcakes. But before we get into the topics, I have to introduce my panel. And I'm going to start with the man that could outrun a tornado to make sure that his calzone is hot when he eats it. My very good friend, all the way from Florida, Clowns. Welcome, dude. You are like a regular on the show. I love having you on, and I'm glad you're back.
Hey, what's up, Boom? Thanks for having me. Love being on Breakfast with Boom. Yeah, it's a pleasure being here, man. I'll even put down a calzone just to come on.
Well, dude, I'm obviously very honored by that because we know that the calzones are important and I can make them. One day we have to hook up and I will make you an incredible calzone. Next up, he is a person that when you look at his avatar, you think of him as maybe being a little deceptive. He's also a very happy person today because now he could legally smoke the devil's spinach, as I like to call it. He's also a panel member of the incredible RDX and has an opinion that you need to listen to. My very good friend, second time on the show, so Shady, dude, welcome.
Thank you, Boom. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's a little bit early for me, but never too early to come on and talk video games, I got to say. I'm excited to do it. Let's get her done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. I know that you're running on literally fumes because you were on Salty's show last night, but I'm glad that you're here. And also making his second appearance on the Breakfast with Boom show. He's pretty new to the community, but I'm going to tell you this. He would give the Dark Knight a run for his money because he is one of the best detectives when it comes to video game information. That is, of course, Shan786. Welcome back to the show, dude.
Thanks, Boom. It's good to be back on the show again. We've got some good topics to talk about, and let's do this. Let's get into it.
Okay, well, listen, it's great to have everyone here. As everyone knows, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, my wife and I, have decided that for the entire month of October, we will be donating 50% of all Super Chat that is donated to us to a breast cancer awareness charity that we have picked. Before we get into the fun part of the show, I do like to talk a little bit about the disease because it is important. And today I'm going to be talking about the 8 common misconceptions about breast cancer. These are facts about the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention. This article was pulled from the Cleveland Clinic, which specializes in breast cancer. And these are the 8 misconceptions that are not true when it comes to breast cancer. The first one is mammograms are no longer necessary. That is 100% absolute false. 2, the self breast exam is a thing of the past. Once again, completely false. 3, I feel something in my breast, but I recently had a normal mammogram, so I'm sure that I'm okay. That is absolutely wrong. If you feel anything, please make an appointment with your doctor and get yourself checked out. Number 4 is I don't need annual mammograms. I just need an MRI. That is, again, completely false. Mammograms are super important. And though I understand they could be a little bit pricey, they range between $80 and $150. There are plenty of places, clinics that you can find online that will do it for absolutely free. Number 5 is thermography is an effective substitute for a mammogram. Once again, completely false. Please, women out there, get your mammograms yearly. It is very important, especially if cancer runs in your family. Number 6, genetic mutations are common. Once again, completely false. They are certainly not common, and they'll find that out through blood work and other tests. The number 7 is mastectomy is the only way to reduce your risk for breast cancer. That is completely false. Like I said, you have to get your annual physicals, especially, again, if it runs in your family. And 8, all women have the most all women should have the most aggressive breast cancer treatments possible, and that of course is completely false. And again, celebrating the survivors of this horrendous disease and being there for the people that are dealing with it. I personally have grown in regards to knowledge with breast cancer, and there are different forms which I did not know about. I learned as I was, putting these shows together and reading these articles, which I was fantastic, because of course I have a wife and I have sisters, and that's very important to know. But each cancer is treated differently, and some don't need super aggressive treatment. Some just need minor ones. So if you're comfortable with your doctor, please make sure that you speak with them. Be frank, show your concerns, bring a friend, write down your questions that you want to ask, because sometimes when we get in front of the doctor, we get shy and we get forgetful, especially if it's a stressful situation like when dealing with breast cancer. But I just want to thank the community for supporting me on this mission of mine. It's something that my wife and I really wanted to do, and the community has just been so amazing. I cannot thank you enough. But you know what? You guys are here to talk about video games. That's what the panel is here for. That is what I'm here for. So thank you for taking the time to listen to my little spiel, and let's get right into the big guns. Call of Duty's Black Ops 4 apparently, like I said in the opening, is pretty damn good. But more importantly, for Activision, they made $500 million in the first week of sales. It has broken records left and right, which is really not surprising. In the UK, it broke records in regards to digital sales, the most of the Call of Duty has ever sold. It broke records also in the other way, that it's been the lowest physical sales in the history of Call of Duty, and that's not surprising because we are moving into a digital era. And you know what? For the panel, I have a couple of questions here, and this is a bit loaded, so take your time answering it. First and foremost, are you surprised with Call of Duty's success, considering that it did not have a single player campaign, which kept me from buying it? And more importantly, are you surprised that as of this podcast has gone live, PUBG has seen the 12% decline in player count? Because obviously PUBG is, even though it's been out a year, is still a flawed game. Shady, I want to go to you because I know that you've been playing this game like it's going out of style. I know the question is loaded, but I know the folks want to hear. First of all, again, are you surprised by the success of this Black Ops 4, even without a single player campaign? And are you even more surprised that PUBG is now feeling the effects of this?
I'm actually surprised by neither. Both of them seem very obvious to me. PUBG has been unstoppable up until just recently. Same with Fortnite, both battle royale modes. Everyone knows that it's roughly maybe 24 to 30% of the people that buy Call of Duty that are the ones that are completing the campaign when you go and look at those achievement stats. So there's about a third of the audience there that is really hardcore into that campaign. And I think that the Battle Royale fans outweigh those campaign fans by a lot. And they're buying it up in mass. It doesn't surprise me. It's also got that Black Ops moniker. That's a very popular brand of the Call of Duty itself. So I'm not surprised at all. And the game plays great. It's got triple the zombie content at launch, 14 multiplayer maps, 2 new modes in the multiplayer as well. And, of course, Blackout mode, which... speaking personally, I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love it. My heart gets pounding. The pace is great. Not too slow, not too fast. It loads fast, plays smooth. Hit detection is on point. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this Call of Duty. And I'm not even very good at it. I'm good at multiplayer games most of the time, but Call of Duty, I just get my ass handed to me. But I still keep coming back to this game. I enjoyed it. It plays really well. It looks good. And I'm having a really good time with it. If anyone out there is curious, even just curious, I recommend it.
Okay, now let me just while I have you on the mic, let me ask you a question. Now you're obviously satisfied with the amount of content. I'm curious, which version did you buy? Was it just a standard $60 one, or did you buy the maximum package where you get the DLC?
It was just the standard one for now. I'll wait and
Okay.
see what happens with
Now,
what they're offering.
Now, I'm glad that you said that because, okay, here's my question to you. Now, for me, I buy Call of Duty for the single player campaign. That's how I've always played it. I have dabbled in multiplayer. I've enjoyed it while I was there, but it's just not. I wouldn't. This not having a single player campaign is what kind of made me not buy it, because if anyone that's been following me knows, I'm more of a single player guy. I play multiplayer with plenty of the community, but I'm a single player guy first.
I'm with you, Boom. I used to play. I do play and buy my Call of Duties because of the campaigns all in the past. I love Call of Duty campaigns. It's a great Michael Bay, Rambo badassery experience. I have a good time with it. But I've always bought my Call of Duties when they were on sale. I never bought them at launch. I never felt that the campaign and multiplayer was worth my big money day one. I always waited. This Call of Duty, though, I had already pre-ordered by myself for day one. I wanted that Blackout really bad, not having a campaign. While it sucks, I wish there was one, no doubt. That wasn't enough for me to miss out on the Blackout mode specifically, because Battle Royale is just, it's massive right now. It's the talk of the town, and PUBG was just a mess that I didn't want to get involved in, and Fortnite wasn't getting the job done for me. So I knew that this one was going to do it, and it did. Like it just plays so good. So I got it day one, and if that means anything, like I said, I love campaign CODs and would buy the old ones on sale. This one, no campaign, day one for Shady.
Okay, well that's actually good to know. And if you're a listener of the show and you were kind of on the fence, I'm assuming that if you like the Battle Royale mode that has basically taken over gaming as we know it, then this is probably for you. Clowns, I want to go to you, dude. Call of Duty, every time it comes out, it's usually breaking its own records. But there was a lot of reserve going into this launch, because obviously, when the initial reveal, people were like, well, I don't know, I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I don't know if I'm getting my money's worth. Single player campaign, apparently they were working on it, then it got scrapped, which I don't believe. Are you surprised that this is breaking sales numbers like crazy, and are you even more surprised that I think that by the time a month goes by, I think PUBG is going to probably lose half of its player base. What's your take on this, dude?
Well, Boom, with this Call of Duty, I am not in love with this one.
Okay.
However, I'm going to go with what Shady said, and I think everybody should try it out for themselves, because some people are going to like it and some people aren't. In this Call of Duty specifically, the one thing that really, really upsets me personally now, keep in mind that I'm not the greatest Call of Duty player. Like, I have a 0.89 KD on past Call of Duties, but in this one, my KD is super high. That's because all you got to do is tap somebody with a bullet and it counts as a kill, even if somebody else kills them. And I think that's kind of like handing everybody a trophy. It's like saying,
oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, Clowns, you suck on past CODs, but man, you're really good on this one. I'm going like 5.0 in some matches, 4.0, when I should really be doing like 0.79, 0.69. But I think they did this to get more casuals into the game, to open up the franchise more, to, not keep gatekeepers at the helm of the community. Let everybody in, let everybody try, let everybody have fun. And it's going to work for most people. For some reason with me, it just doesn't stick. And as far as Blackout goes, right now in quads, I think there's still like some server issues.
I heard, yes.
So some lag here and there, like 3 frames per second for some people. So
I've heard that, but I haven't experienced any of the quad issues myself. It could be something different because I'm up in Canada. I don't know.
Maybe
it's possible.
You might have better server reach out there, better ping. But like for guys like Assassin and Inferno, they were trying to play it, and man, like they couldn't like barely move in quads.
Wow. Well, you know what? Look, here's the thing. I know a lot of people hate on Activision because they're that evil company, and they can be. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, the developer is not Activision; they're just the publisher. I think the developer will. Who did this one? Is it Treyarch?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, Treyarch did this one. You know, they're a good developer, man. You know, you can say whatever you want about Call of Duty. You can hate on it, whatever, but they're a fantastic developer. Most games in 2018 do have some server hiccups because obviously the entire world is trying to get into a keyhole with the game because everybody wants to play, and rightfully so. So I wouldn't deter from buying the game because you hear the quads are just running terrible. It's something that they will address within the next 20 to 48 hours. I'm sure they're working on it literally as we're talking on this show. But Shan, I want to get your take on it because you're in the UK, and we were having some pre-game talk about how PlayStation is such a big brand there, more than just the games. The brand itself is just humongous. What is your take on the success that Treyarch, Activision, and the Call of Duty franchise is having with the latest entry?
Well, to be honest, Boom, I'm not surprised. Like I said in the pre-show, we were talking about games like FIFA and COD. They're one of the biggest games in the UK, especially you said like it's breaking records with digital sales. And we're not surprised because we are in a digital era now. And you know, it's that fresh take off a new BR mode. That's what it is. PUBG's done it. Fortnite's doing it at the moment. So people do want to try different things, new ways of like a battle royale mode. And this is, let's face it, COD is massive anyway. Every year people say, I'm not going to get it, I'm not going to get it. What do? They always get it. And they always break records. I know people were concerned about like not having a campaign, but people not into it. It just proves it that you don't need a campaign to be successful, especially when it comes to the Call of Duty game.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. And before we continue with this topic, I just have to say a real big thank you to Caboose V42 for the incredible $25 super chat. Dude, you are incredible. He says in the message, it was nice chatting with you last night. Yes, me and Caboose were talking for about 30 minutes while we were both tearing through Assassin's Creed Odyssey. He has beaten it, the main story, and he is now just trying to sew up on some achievements. Me, I am only 63% with the game, but I'm at 115-hour mark in that game, and I will probably put another 20 hours over the weekend. It's just I literally, before starting the show, I was just playing. I cannot stop. It's just a fantastic game. But if no one else has anything to add regarding Call of Duty, I'd like to move on to the next topic, and it involves PlayStation. If you're not familiar with this story, earlier in the week, PlayStation 4 users were receiving a nefarious message that was crashing their consoles. And the question is, why does this continue to happen? Now, granted, according to Sony, the problem is fixed, but PSN was down once again. They said it was for maintenance, but it was a little longer than maintenance, in my opinion. Now, this nefarious message, which was done by some hacker group, I'm sure, used an unrecognized character to force the console to crash. In some cases, it would even go into a crash loop. And I heard this on Twitter that people had blue screens that they couldn't shut off the system. Their controllers wouldn't start, and people were terrified to just unplug it from the wall. You can, according to Sony, you can prevent future exploits like this by simply changing your settings on your system to only allowing messages from friends. Now, here's the thing. I understand that's a fix, but we're in a business. And I say a business, with YouTube and Twitter and social media, that you meet a lot of people. All of my DMs are open. All of my consoles are wide open for anyone to message or friend me, because I don't know if someone may hear me on the show for the first time and say, wow, I really want to kind of be friends with BoomStick because he sounds cool. And I'll get a message that says, hey, so-and-so has friended you. So I check out their bio and I friend them right back. If your thing is closed off to only friends, you're never going to get those messages. And I think that's a real shitty way to, counteract problems with your network. Shady, I have to go to you on this. The running joke and almost like no one likes to talk about it in public, is that Sony's PSN is a crappy service. And you know, it shocks me that we're in 2018, that all the way back in the PS3 era, when they literally brought down the entire network, they have not learned or put the investment into an infrastructure that's going to, you know, protect their players. You know, people pay. Remember, PSN is not free. You can play, you can have it, but you can't play with friends. Obviously, that's the new thing. And you are paying $60 a year for this service. Shady, why hasn't Sony done the right thing and fixed the infrastructure on a failing PSN?
You know, I think if they could fix it, they would. I just think that it's out of their ability, or it's just going to cost so much money, or maybe even like a system-wide reboot, which I can't imagine being a smooth process. It's unfortunate that it's going down this way, and some of these problems seem to be coming to light like very recently with this message thing.
Yes.
With finally you can change your names, but there's a big caveat there that everyone kind of needs to read the 2 paragraphs on. If you do that, there's a bunch of issues that may come up with those things. Like there's a lot of stuff on Sony's end that seems to not be happening over here on the Xbox side, and it's too bad for the fans of that platform that use it as their main. Some people out there still don't trust Sony with their credit card information, which makes maybe buying digital a little bit more difficult for them if that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, you got to go buy. You have to actually go to a store and buy the cards.
The cards, but I mean, at least that is an option for them, so they can do that. But it would be better, I think, if the network wasn't having these types of issues. I mean, this message issue, when they're recommending that you just turn your messages off and that's the fix, like that's not a fix. That's turning off options that I once had the ability to use, and to some those are great, like making new friends and meeting new people, congratulating someone at the end of a match, or maybe kind of cussing him out a little bit for his the way he played, his trolling or whatever have you. To be able to not have random messages going in and out as a YouTuber now would be a massive detriment to myself for sure, and I just couldn't. I don't know why people stand for it and why there isn't a little bit more outrage, so to speak. They are paying for it this generation and weren't last generation. So I'm kind of wondering where all this money is going to. What is it paying for?
You know, that's a fantastic question, because, you know, obviously Sony, like Microsoft, has multiple aspects to their business. You know, there's Sony Movie Pictures. They make TVs. They make Blu-ray players. All kinds of things, and this is the one division that is literally making money hand over fist. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. The PlayStation brand is an incredible, you know, money maker for the company. So it does make me wonder what is going on in the background where the money is being spent. Now, I have heard, and there has been several, you know, gaming media sites that have reported that apparently Sony is in the process of making a big change when it comes to the PlayStation 5. Now, I think that is something that absolutely has to happen. I'm a PlayStation 4 owner. I own a Pro. In fact, I own 2. And I have a PlayStation VR. And I got rid of a Vita a couple of years ago. I was a big fan of that. So I'm a supporter of the company, and as a customer, I want to make sure that, you know, 2000 and I'm not sure when the hack was. I think it was 2006 maybe. I don't want that ever to happen again, because a credit card did get used and I had to cancel it, and it was a nightmare. So as a customer, I want them to do better. Clowns, I have to go to you on this because I know you have a lot to say when it comes to the shenanigans at Sony. This newest thing, and Shady really hit on it well, where he said all of these things are happening all at once. You know, you have the name change situation, and it's really a bit of a cluster. You know, games aren't running, trophies aren't showing up, your old name is still showing up. It's basically, it's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a dam that's about to break, which is ridiculous. Now you have this message that you can get that literally can just corrupt your entire console. And, you know, and we're still paying the $60 a year. Why do you think that Sony has yet to figure this out?
You know, I don't think Sony takes security as serious as companies like Microsoft. I just think they don't really care as much. They have the bulk of the market. And if they have to pay out fines, they don't really care, man. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. And their architecture is a lot older as well. They're not constantly updating the architecture. And it's always been a target of hacking groups, DDoS groups, and other people that just want to get back at Sony. It's going to keep happening with little glitches and bugs here and there. And, you know, for Sony to miss something such as a character, I reckon that's like something that AOL did back in the days of aim punning. Sony should have realized that. You know, it's been around a long time.
Yeah, you know what? I when I hear this stuff, it's a little disheartening because, you know, when you think of gaming in 2018, now a lot of us are older gamers. A lot of the YouTubers that circle that I run in, they're not certainly as old as I am. I'm usually the oldest guy in the room, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But they're in their late 30s, like yourself, early 40s. We remember where cartridges and floppy disks and you know, actual disks, you know, CD-ROMs were the thing, and now everything is digital. And as a consumer, you know, when you think of digital, you think of ease of use, right? Like, you know, you put your credit card in, the console of your choice saves it. They have firewalls to protect that information, and every time a game comes out, you can just go and pre-order it now, and it just, your credit card is charged or your debit card is charged, and you're not supposed to think about it. You know, the old set it and forget it kind of a thing. You know, that's the idea of digital. And unfortunately, with the PlayStation Network the way it is, that is something like Shady was saying. Like he's uncomfortable with putting his information in. I don't have my information in there. I don't even have my PayPal information in there. I know PayPal is way secure. So I do buy like the points, if you will, and put the codes in because I don't want to leave my credit card information on there. Shan, I want to go to you on this. Like you said, in the UK where you are, PlayStation is the biggest brand going. And there are a lot of reasons why there are almost 85 million consoles out there. And I talk about this all the time. It's Sony's aggressive marketing and the way that they just, you know, they put the PlayStation in everyone's face. But what they don't do is apparently they're laxed on security when it comes to their network. Do you think that this is something that is going to hurt the company in the end and should change?
No, Boom, to be honest, because when it comes to the PS fans, they don't really like I said, Days Gone been delayed and there's no uproar about it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get into that as well. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah, he's just saying it's like with the network. I don't know if you've seen the video of the person who had his console break. It was a blue screen.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's a shame, really. It's not on the same level as Xbox Live. And let's be honest. When it comes to the both networks, they do go down. And
yes, they did absolutely. Networks do go down, but certainly the PlayStation Network is more. It has a more storied history, if you will.
Oh yeah, I agree on that. And to be honest, like Shady and Clowns were saying, I think they're just trying to be a bit lazy. Maybe they're gearing up for next gen, and maybe they will do a proper job then. You know, it's just how it's a shit network straight up. That's the only thing you can say.
Yeah, it's a shame because obviously they are the market leader. They are a 2-to-1 leader when it comes to PS4 versus Xbox One. They are almost a 4-to-1 leader when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. They are having a significant amount of income from the PlayStation brand, and it is a shame that they seem to be dragging their heels in the sand, if you will, when it comes to network security, which is in 2018 should be paramount to any network. But, you know, again, it has been reported upon that the PlayStation 5 will have a newer, more secure network. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also very excited to see what Sony does in the next generation. But, you know, you made mention, Shan, about the delay. Once again, Days Gone. Now this comes in the form from a tweet from the company where they felt it was necessary to delay the game from February 22nd to April 26th, which is almost 9.5 weeks. And here's the thing. Obviously, you know the Crap Gamer. You know who I'm talking about. He does videos. He does probably around 10 a day. His content is I don't know how he has the time. I mean, the guy is just he's like a machine. And I don't normally agree with him, to be honest. We do see the world from two different perspectives, and I'm perfectly okay with that. His opinion is just as valid as mine. But I do have to agree with a tweet that he sent out earlier this morning. It could have been last night that I just missed. And in the tweet, it said that apparently it's okay for Sony to do whatever they want and not get any outrage for a delay. Now, obviously, I'm referring to two games when it comes to delays. First of all, earlier in the month, Crackdown 3 secretly, supposedly, was delayed 1 week from the 22nd to, I believe, the 28th of next year, February. And the world basically, started with the torches and pitchforks. And this Days Gone, which has had just as many delays as Crackdown. And listen, let me just throw it out there before I get any hate mail. Understand that there are two things here. One, I'm a huge zombie fan. And two, I have been one of the few YouTubers that have been writing the coattails of Days Gone. I'm super stoked for that game. I cannot wait. I'm disappointed that it's been delayed. So understand that this is not a jump, pounce on Sony thing. This is me being as a fan of what the game could potentially be, because it looks fantastic in my opinion. It's open world, it's story driven, it's adult themed, it's a Sony first party. Check. Boom is satisfied. So I'm excited for the game. Disappointed that it's delayed. Shady, I have to go to you on this. Why is it okay for no media coverage and no fan outrage for Days Gone being delayed almost way over 2 months, as opposed to Crackdown being delayed 6 days? It seems the scales are way different here. Am I seeing it am I seeing it wrong?
No, it certainly does look like that. We just heard that Crackdown 3 might be getting a 1 week delay, and it seemed that everyone, even those that weren't interested in the game at all, certainly had an opinion on the matter. And how dare Microsoft delay this game again? Yet this game is being delayed again, and everyone's fine with it. All better. It's going to make the game better. It's either a little bit of bias, or it seems Crackdown has everyone's interest. We want to play that game and don't want to wait, but are totally willing to wait for Days Gone. There's no rush to get Days Gone out for maybe the majority of people. Maybe, I don't know. I'm calling maybe a little bit of both, a little bit of bias and a little bit of maybe disinterest. Not that the game looks bad, but it just looks like another third person walking through a forest with some kind of zombie PlayStation title. It's starting to become very patterned over there as to what they're offering, and not everyone is on board with that type of game.
Here's the thing. You say that, and I 100% agree with you, but you know something? I love that. I absolutely love that about the Sony games. I mean, I understand there's a stigma. Oh, the games, they're the third person, and it's the walking and the detail. I gotta tell you, it's one of the main reasons why I own a PlayStation 4. I mean, and the amount of time I put into their games is just it's gross. God of War 60 plus hours, Spider-Man 60 plus hours, Uncharted 4 70 plus hours. I honestly, to be honest, cannot get enough of it. That's why every time a Sony first party comes out, you see me on Twitter, I'm posting pictures, I'm making comments, I'm doing videos, because I do really love that about the Sony platform. But you know what? This delay, it's hurtful. I hope it doesn't mean the game is going to be disappointing. I would be devastated.
I think there'll be some polish at it, actually, just real quick. And one of the reasons I think it was delayed as well is there was 4 huge games coming out on the 22nd, right? Yes. It was Anthem, Metro, Crackdown 3, and Days Gone. And it's no fanboy, no hate or nothing, but out of those 4 games, I think Days Gone would have been the one to struggle. Anthem, I believe, is going to be the champion of that day. This is when they were all launching, of course. But Anthem would have won it. I think Metro would have come in second because the trailers they have shown of that game are mind-blowing. Just, it looks so good. And then Crackdown always had Game Pass to fall back on for people to still have interactions with and be able to play without having to shell out big money. Whereas Days Gone is just a full-price AAA title that is available only on one platform. So I've always thought that that was going to be the game that would have struggled on that launch day. So I think it's a good thing that it moved. I wasn't expecting a 9-week move, but I mean, as long as they're working on it and they're polishing it up, a delay is a good thing. So I hope it works out.
Yeah, you know, you're always disappointed with a delay, but if a game is made to be better because of it, at the end you're going to be a happy gamer. Clowns, did I go to you on this one yet? No, I have not. I'm so sorry because I'm trying to do the chat and pull up my notes, and at the same time I got slightly confused. I'm old, damn it. Okay,
that's all right.
Here's the thing: Days Gone is going to be listen, I'm saying it now. It's going to be a big game for Sony. It doesn't matter with the delay or not. I think that this is going to sell a couple of million copies. The zombie genre is still big. Obviously, The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, you know, they're still making money. You know, zombie modes are still in game. Perfect example, Black Ops 4, multiple zombie modes. Hell, there's even zombies in the Battle Royale mode, which is really cool. But, you know, the media seems to really kind of turn the knob down when it comes to noise, with Sony stuff, and really raise the volume when it comes to Microsoft making boo-boos. Why do you think this is still happening?
You know, Sony gets a pass on everything, and so do their first-party studios. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how many delays they have. It doesn't matter if they delay this thing till PS5 launches. The media is not going to make a big deal as if it was a Microsoft first-party studio. Not sure why they continue to do this as more and more journalists are having fun on Xbox One. It's just the way that it's always going to be, unfortunately. And the fans, Sony fans don't care either. They're going to buy it when it comes out, no matter when it comes out. Whereas Xbox fans would get upset because they're excited for something and they're going to say something. You know, they'll say something to Microsoft or the execs on Twitter and be like, hey, where's the game? It should have been out. Sony fans are just going to give a pass on this one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, again, I support all 3 consoles. I wear the Xbox brand being my favorite on my sleeve. There's no denying it. I like to be transparent like that. I'm going to say this: the media has cozied up to Microsoft in the last, you know, since E3. There's been a bit of a swing in change, if you will. But real quick, I just got to pay the bills. A big thank you to Smitty Smith for the $15 super chat. Dude, thank you so much. It says here, I stand with you shoulder to shoulder to help in the fight against breast cancer. Much love to the panel and chat. Dude, let me tell you something. Every dollar helps. And I'm one of the few. I haven't seen many YouTubers doing this. It's something that I bring up my dad, and that's like a real hard subject for me because I lost him 20 plus years ago. But you know, I only had my dad up until my early 20s, and it's tough to talk about. And as recently, my wife lost her mom last year, and it devastated the entire family. So cancer sucks. Yeah. So anything that we can do to help is something that I'm proud that not only am I doing, but I involved my wife. She was at the forefront of doing this, and we're proud to do it. So every dollar helps. So big thank you to everyone that has donated. But I want to continue with the show. Shan, you know, Sony, like the other panel members had to say, seems to get a pass. And I'm still looking, and I've been looking as of this morning. I haven't seen any media outlet say, I am outraged. I can't believe that Days Gone is delayed again. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any tweets from some of the pro Sony players about, oh, this is this is good or this is terrible. No one's really talking about it. Do you think there's a double standard at play that people just don't want to talk about?
Yeah, Boomer, there's a double standard, to be honest, because even Larry Herb said it as well. When they look at Microsoft, they look at us in a different on a different level, a different scale. And when it was E3 2018 and they announced all them 4 games, we knew as well, many of us knew that Days Gone will get delayed. One of the reasons why it would have been because Sony just loves the sales. They want to make maximum profits on the games.
Right.
And it is a shame for gamers because, you know, like if you're just a one console owner, a PS4 owner, and you were looking forward to that game, it's been delayed for 7-8 weeks now. So it's a shame, really. But we all knew because when it comes to February 22nd, there's only one game that's going to kill it, and that's Anthem.
Yes.
Nothing's touching that at all.
I'm actually surprised that anyone is hanging around because the reality, look, I did a video. And yeah, you have to understand, my channel is very small. I completely understand that. I'm tiny compared to what the big waters of YouTube is. And we all have to start somewhere, so I understand that as well. I had a video I did on Anthem. 47,000 people watched this video. Shocking to me that many people cared. And I like to answer the messages, but you know, when you get hundreds and hundreds of messages, it's hard to keep up. It really is when you're small, small channel. But a lot of those messages were hate messages, not towards my channel or towards me, but towards EA and Anthem. And a good majority of people have already swore up and down that they're not buying this game, which I think is a load of BS, to be honest with you, because this is going to be, in my opinion, the biggest thing since Destiny, and I think that it has the potential. Remember, I'm saying potential people to outclass Destiny in every way. I'm excited for it. It is BioWare at their finest, so I'm very excited. And if I was a developer, I would not have my game anywhere near this.
Yeah, Boom, I'm gonna say, like, Anthem is gonna destroy Destiny. I'm just gonna put it out there.
It probably is.
It's going to destroy it. I'm 100% sure.
Well, like I said, only time is going to tell. You know, we still have about three or 4 months before it comes out, so that they're still working hard at it. But keeping segueing into the next topic involving Sony in a positive light, on September or in early September, Sony shocked the world when they announced the PlayStation Classic, and the internet exploded in excitement. And to be completely honest, I pre-ordered it as well on Amazon because, again, Boom buys everything, or at least he certainly tries to. I have all the classic consoles. I have all the minis that are available now. I have the Neo Geo Mini pre-ordered. I want to get my hands on that. I will be buying this. I understand that they're PlayStation 1 games, and there's only 20 of them, and they probably look terrible, but I like gaming, so I'm going to support Sony. But this story involves the N64 Classic Mini gaming console that, according to certain sources, may be coming out very soon. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm a little shocked and not really surprised to some extent, like a 50-50 thing, that we haven't heard anything yet, because obviously we're almost done with October, so the real holiday shopping swing is coming. But in an article from Tech Radar, Nintendo is set to release the much anticipated N64 Mini, and in the article they provided pictures of the unit and the controller ports that are identical to the NES and Super NES Mini that are already available. This is going to make big bucks for Sony, but this is going to make even more big bucks for Nintendo. We obviously know the sales numbers of the NES and the SNES. For crying out loud, they won NPDs. So it is a big deal. I have my 5 top games that I want to see on the N64 Mini. I want to immediately go to the chat and say, hey, Put your favorite N64 game there. Let's talk about it. I'll go to the panel, but I want to read mine first. Here are my 5 games that I think absolutely have to be on this mini console: Mario 64, Star Fox 64, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, F-Zero X, and Diddy Kong Racing. Shady, I want to go to you. I heard you on last night's Salty show, and it was, first of all, the show was fantastic. So good on Salty for that. But you were talking about your history of gaming, and I know you mentioned the older consoles. Were you an N64 user, and are you excited for this mini?
That's right. I was an N64 user. My gaming started on a Coleco and in television. Jeez, that was hard to get out for some reason. But growing up, I've always been into gaming. It's been my #1 hobby. And the N64, in my memory, is amazing.
It is
just incredible. That 4-player. It was the first gen to really usher in true 3D worlds, and my mind was blown as a youth. Like, I have nothing but positivity when it comes to the way I remember that system. I still own it, and I still have almost all my games for it. And I got to admit that every time I turn it on, I'm disappointed. Like, it hurts my memory of it, because it is that very first 3D gen. And those games, they are rough. They are a pile of triangles and squares stacked on top of each other, pretending to be Hulk Hogan in WCW versus NWO Revenge. Like, I found it's hard to go back to that gen for me. I find that the N64 specifically is best left to my memory than for me to actually go back and play the games. And I have no problem doing that. So I'm going to pass on the N64 Mini. The SNES Mini, though, was brilliant. I love it. It was just the pinnacle of the side-scrolling gen at the time. It was the last of that side-scrolling era, and it nailed it. And then going into the N64, I mean, if you were there at the time, it was fantastic. But I find that going back from playing today's games, it can be really rough. So it's not for me.
Okay, I mean, listen, that's perfectly fair. They do say that when you have to remember, we're in 2018. You take games like what Call of Duty looks like now, and AC Odyssey, and Spider-Man. I mean, any of Sony's first-party games, they just have that lifelike, vision to them, and it's real hard. It's real hard to go back to the I mean, it's going to be tough to play. I mean, not only does it look probably horrendous, but it controls probably just as bad. But you know what? I'm going to get it anyway, because you know what? Boom buys everything. Clowns, I want to go to you, dude. Now, listen, this retro era, explosion that's happened since the NES Mini is just unbelievable. When you talk about monies that these companies are making, Nintendo, they already have a huge fort of money that's being guarded as we speak, probably by the Koopa Troopers. But we know that they made boatloads of money with the NES. They made even more money with the SNES, which is my favorite console, literally of all time. And this is expected to be as big because the N64 is a classic console. What is your take on them bringing it back? And do you think it's once again could possibly even win the MPD?
Well, wow, this is a love-hate relationship one, because I had the N64 for like a day and stopped playing it. I every time I think about the N64, I think about like the Super Mario 64, and I'm like, man, I should have beat that game. I should have played it because it looks so cool. And then when I go back to play it, I'm like, damn, this controller really sucks.
Yeah, it's a hard controller to learn. It certainly is.
So, I mean, I think it's going to do well because nostalgia is a hell of a drug, as Moosh always says.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I hated the N64 generation. I played GoldenEye, and that was really much it. With friends, I turned on paintball mode, and then after that, never touched it again.
Okay, well, listen, that's completely fair, and you know what? That is a fair and honest assessment. You liked what they had to bring to the table, but at the same time, you disliked it for many reasons. Perfectly fine. Shan, I want to go to you on this, dude. I don't know what your age is. I'm assuming you're a little younger than I am, probably a lot younger than I am.
Yeah, about 17 years.
Okay, well, listen, you know what? We always got to get born, right? That's the way the world works. The N64 Mini is there's been no announcement, there's been no confirmation other than a few pictures of the mini console and the controller ports. But it's out there. I mean, we all kind of know like clockwork. Like, you know, we're gonna go to sleep, and in the morning, we're gonna know that the sun is gonna be there. So, you know, we had the N60, we had the NES, and then the following year we had the SNES. And in complete order to what consoles came out, I'm expecting that we're going to get the N64 this year and possibly a GameCube Mini next year. Are you excited to get this system? Will you be purchasing the system? And do you have any fond memories of the N64?
Yeah, Boom. Who wants to play old games?
Yeah, well, apparently no one.
No one.
It's only a $1 million maker, but yes, that is correct. No one wants to play.
Nintendo will get it. This N64 Mini is coming. You look at the NES, SNES, and they were winning MPDs. And N64, what I called it, it was the king of platformers.
Yes,
it was the king of platformers. Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie. You got your Zeldas. You got Mystical. I forgot the name. Ninja something it was called.
You have Conquer.
You had the wrestling games like No Mercy. You know, it was just a crazy console that was. Especially, I was in high school at that time, so it's one of the best consoles. I would say I agree. One of the best consoles when it comes to platformers and as a multiplayer as well, because of the 4 controller ports as well. And
speaking of which, Nintendo is going to make a mountain of money reselling 4 N64 controllers to everyone that buys this Mini, because you know you need the 4-player for like the Star Fox and
you know that people are going to buy
Mario Kart. You know it's going to sell like hotcakes. We know it's coming, Boom, and I know you're excited and that, but I won't be buying it because I just want to leave it in the past because they were very good memories. You know, my favorite game on that was Super Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie right next to it. And I just want to leave it there. I don't want to kind of mess my childhood up. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, listen, it's completely understandable. I mean, look, we all have these fond memories for when we were kids on certain things. For me, like, you know, I mean, obviously I started with the Atari 2600. So, you know, I had block graphics. So I'm very privileged and honored to have seen the industry move in the direction it has. That's one of the things I take away with being a little older is I started when they were sticks and dots. With a joystick and one button, and now I'm playing. You know, I'm playing these incredible titles on all 3 consoles that just take hours and hours away. Excuse me, of my life, and I love doing it. But you know what? It's something that, you know, like I said, I'm gonna buy. My nephew, who is my video game partner, if you will, Tyler, who is 10, started out, his life holding a controller when he was 6 months old, and I have groomed him into a Nintendo freak. Nintendo Direct would be happy to hear that, and I'm probably gonna buy one for me and one for him. Believe it or not, you know, even though he's 10. He's not full of S, if you know what I mean. He plays the older games and he appreciates what he's playing. He has just as much fun on something like the NES Classic as he does with his Switch, which is great. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm concerned about the price because, you know, obviously the NES Mini was $60, and then the SNES was $80. So I'm kind of wondering if this is going to fall into that $100 realm right along with the PlayStation Mini. Hopefully they don't come out at the same time. Because I'd like to get them both, but, you know, it's the holidays and family comes first. So, you know, you have to do your holiday shopping, and maybe I don't get it right away, but we'll see. We'll see. But I want to move on to the... No, you have something to say before we move on to the next topic?
It depends what games come with it. If it does come with the Mario games and the Banjo-Kazooie and the Secret Manners, not Secret Man, sorry, that was if it comes with the right games, they can sell it for $150, that console. You know,
they can
get away with it.
Yeah, you know, when you get past the $100 realm in a classic console, it starts to concern me for the simple fact that once Black Friday comes around, you're talking about now you can get an Xbox One S or a PlayStation Slim for like maybe $150. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think it would be ballsy, in my opinion, for Nintendo to try and charge that. I think if it went that high, it would flop.
Well, well, they sell cardboard. Come on, Boom.
Yeah, no, I mean it's true. People, but you know what? To be fair, the cardboard thing did not do as well as they thought it was going to do. It sold, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like record breaking. But that's perfectly fine. I want to move on to the next topic, and this comes to us from Forbes. The author of this article is Paul Tassi. Now, I've had my problems with Paul Tassi. He has been he's been known to be a very anti Xbox. But this story does not concern a particular console as it concerns Destiny 2. And in the article, it says, enough is enough. Give us a full duplicate exotic protection in Destiny 2. Now, if you're a fan of the game, you're going to know my particular pain. I happen to have put over 1,000 hours into Destiny 1. I have put over 500 hours into Destiny 2. I have not played it as much, but one of the biggest problems dating all the way back to the original, and it's a problem that seems to get talked about more on social media and get ignored by Bungie on a regular basis than it should, and that is the duplication of exotics. Truthfully, I haven't played Destiny 2 in a while, but thanks to my brother Neo Mental, he surprised me with the Forsaken DLC. But unfortunately, there are just too many games. I will eventually get to it. But with that said, one of the greatest feelings in this game is when you see that gold orb drop while playing the game, and the awesome feeling is immediately extinguished when you get the exotic and you see that it's an exotic that you already have 6 times over. Paul Tassi goes on to say that moving slow as molasses, a fix is supposedly coming to the Destiny 2 for both platforms on October 30th from Bungie, which will weigh the Forsaken exotics more heavily when it comes to the drops. Now, Shady, I don't know if you play Destiny 2, but I am going to say this. I think that in gaming, besides achievement and trophies, which are amazing to get, having a game that you really do put a significant amount of time into, you invest, hours and hours of your life that you're never going to get back. Isn't it disheartening to get loot is what drives Destiny as a franchise, right? It's the loot grind. And exotic drops, the gold drops, they don't happen that often, but when they do, there's that excitement. And it's like I said earlier in my opening, it gets extinguished very quickly when it's an exotic you already have. What is your take on them finally fixing this problem?
It's a good thing. And do I play Destiny 2? I've got over 24 days in that title.
Nice. All right, then I'm glad that I had you on the show. This is great.
I play a lot, and for me, Destiny, it's all about that end game peacocking. I want my guy to look awesome, just awesome, have all the sweet gear, the best loot. That's why I play it, and for the co-op, that's what brings me into it. My brother is a Destiny die-hard. Like, that is almost all he plays, and numerous times since the Forsaken has come out, he has been bringing up the fact that his power engrams that you get throughout the week, the ones that actually increase your light level, your power level.
Yes.
He's getting like the same rocket launcher 6-7 times in a row.
It's ridiculous.
And then they addressed it so that rocket launcher wasn't doing it anymore. And then it suddenly shifted to a different gun that he was getting 5-6 times in a row. So it was just wasn't working for him, because that's the power engram that ups his level, but he's already got one, so he has to like infuse that weapon into something else, which is expensive now, and it's never been a good thing. Like, let's get this straight: getting duplicates in these games has never been a good thing. I understand why it happens. I just think it has to not be happening in a row, especially because if they take it, so like if you get an exotic and if you were to never get that in a drop again, it wouldn't be long before you had all the exotics and would be complaining and whining that you've got it all already and you need more. So getting duplicates, I think, is sort of a part of the program that I'm willing to accept. But there are definite instances where some of these armors or guns are dropping in just insane levels that it's not even RNG anymore. It's almost just like it's a guarantee you're going to get this thing 6 times. And that needs to go. So I'm glad they're addressing it, and it's too bad that it's taken this long.
Yeah, you know what? I look, I'm going to say this. I love Bungie as a developer, and at the same time, I despise them because they do things that just make you scratch your head. This is something, and why? And you said it yourself. Why has it taken this long? Well, you know what? Destiny 1 is a few years old. Beloved or hated, regardless. A lot of people played it. Destiny 2 came out, and it launched with a limp, if you will. A lot of people thought that there wasn't enough content. The first DLC suffered because of it. They're very lackluster, to say the least. And now, of course, with the Forsaken DLC, it like the Taken King before it seems to have revitalized the fan base, and that's great. But this problem with duplicates is frustrating, especially if you are doing, raids. If you're doing, night strikes. If you're doing any of these things that give you these exotics, if you're getting the same damn piece of armor, the same helmet that you have 6 of. Why do you play the game, right? We play this because, like you said, you want to deck out your character, you want to complete that particular armor set, and why should you have to do the same mission 30 times instead of doing it 10 times to get that armor set? So I'm right there with you, Clowns. I want to go to you. I don't know if you play Destiny, to be completely honest, but you are still a gamer, and trophies and achievements are great to get, and within these games they have their own set pieces of achievements, and that is for Destiny 2. It is your armor and your weapons, and to constantly get duplicates seems like the old lazy dev stigma seems to come out. What is your take on this, and do you think that Bungie themselves kind of missed the boat with this?
As a gamer, I'm speaking as a gamer, not a Destiny fan, because I don't play Destiny that much. I think it's terrible for you guys. To constantly get duplicates has got to be very frustrating. You're playing this game, you're putting a lot of time into it. You want new stuff. You can understand duplicates here and there, but consistently getting more and more duplicates, it kind of like nulls the feeling of, why am I playing this game if I can't get better stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I've had an instance where I was, as much as I'm playing AC Odyssey right now, like it's like literally all I think of. It's all I play. I'd like to say maybe 8 hours a day. It's almost become a job that I absolutely love, and I will not retire from this job like I did the first one. But when I used to play Destiny like it was going out of style, it would be so exciting to see that gold drop. And then when you get and when you decrypt it and you find out that it's the same handgun, I'm like, oh my God, why does this continue to happen? So I'm happy as a fan. I'm happy for the fans of Destiny 2. Obviously, I'm very excited that the Forsaken DLC really revitalized the Bungie and the fan base. I'm happy for that, and I'm even more excited to see them taking the positive steps the way they're doing in order to not have people waste their time doing the same mission a gazillion times just to put one armor set together. Shan, I don't know. Again, we kind of just met. And I don't really know your gaming habits. If you're a Destiny fan or not, but as a gamer, as a whole, as just speaking from a gamer's point of view, is it finally about time that Bungie addresses this particular issue in their game?
Yes. Well, as a gamer, Boom, like I feel for Shady and like people like Shady, they put so much time into the game, and if they keep getting the same armor, the same gun, it does kind of pee you off on that. Like I play a mobile game called Clash Royale, and when you get the same troops which you don't need, you do get peed off on that. And I'm glad for the gamers that Bungie is addressing it, and hopefully for people like Shady and many others out there, they will fix the problem and enjoy the game.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm very excited for the fans. I'm excited as a fan. I will be getting back into Destiny. It's probably not going to be for a while, simply because I'm still playing, like I said, AC Odyssey, and then next week is the big mama. Obviously, Red Dead Redemption is going to take over the world, and I'm excited for that. But I want to move on to the next topic, and it is a good one, especially if you're a fan of backwards compatibility. Now, the old saying, I think it was Shan that said it, who plays old games? Well, apparently Xbox players do play old games, and we enjoy the shit out of them.
Yes.
This now, real quick, if you're unfamiliar, there was some chatter on social media about how Microsoft apparently has slowed down when it comes to backwards compatibility, that they're only releasing a couple of titles a month. Well, I have some information that should delight you as a fan of backwards compatibility, if, of course, you own these titles. In a tweet that Major Nelson, yes, that Major Nelson, White Gloves Major Nelson, made yesterday, okay, 4 titles were announced, and they are big ones. Available as of yesterday to play on your Xbox One. Oh, by the way, with Xbox One X enhancements, you have Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2. You have the Orange Box, which is probably the best collection of games in the history of gaming, and Portal Still Alive. And they're all, not one, not two, but all of them are Xbox One X enhanced. Now, this magnificent information comes on the heels of earlier in the week where they announced that Crysis 1, 2, and 3 were now available for backwards compatibility. And those 3 awesome titles come on the heels of the announcement that the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, which includes Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, is also backwards compatible. Shady, I have to go to you on this because I know that the stigma is no one plays old games, but that block of titles that I'm talking about are probably the biggest in gaming, and to have those available if you own the games to be able to play on your current console is a big deal. What do you think about that?
I think it's fantastic. As I spoke earlier about the N64 Mini being the early 3D gen and going too far back for me, the 360 gen is nowhere near too far back. Those games are massively playable and still fantastic. Quite frankly, there are some absolute gems on that 360 era of gaming. They look good. They play good still. Not as good as today's games, obviously, but it's great. And I loved Crysis, so I was excited to get those games back compat. They're going to run better than they ever have on my X. I'm excited to get in there and finish up Crysis 3. And then 4K updates to 360 games. I mean, if anyone out there has played the 4K Red Dead Redemption 1, it's just jaw-dropping. It almost looks like a modern-day game. It is beautiful. These 4K updated 360 games look damn good, and I'd like to see more of them. And I mean, Left 4 Dead 2, Left 4 Dead 1, Orange Box, these are critically acclaimed cult classics. Not even cult classics, they all did well. Like, these are good games. I'm glad that they're there. Twitter, get ready to see the celebrity thumb of So Shady holding up the cases. Look out, Mooch, it's coming.
Dude, listen, if you own the games, I understand they're old games, but you know what? You said something important. You never finished Crisis 3, and now you can. You get your achievements, you get a game that looks better, runs better. I mean, you know, you're using a controller that's better than the Xbox 360 controller. I mean, it's a win for gamers all around. Clowns, I want to go to you on this, dude. You know, you're obviously involved in social media, and you know, there are two groups, actually technically three, that sometimes put a lot of shade on this community. The Xbots, the extremists, you have the ponies, and you have the Nintendo, you know, I don't know what you call them, Nintendo orcs, or yeah, maybe. You know, they're the part of the community that I, as a person who really does have an affection for everyone that I meet. Like, you can hear it in the air when I talk on the shows. The fans that know me, that have interacted with me, understand that this isn't an act. This is me as a person. This is how I was in my professional life as a police officer. I had a love for everyone. It was an honor to serve New York City, and I treat it as such. But there's a part of this community that I have a very serious distaste for. And I understand it's going to be there. It's always going to be there. But I try to stay away from it as much as I can. And, you know, the big running joke for the Xbox players by this, you know, particular group is that we have no games, and that we keep hanging our hats on backwards compatibility. And apparently it's a thing. Backwards compatibility can be good, is good, and these bunch of titles that I just listed at the beginning of this piece prove that it is important. What is your take on not only backwards compatibility as a whole, but these games that I talked about?
Well, first off, I really want to say that this is really cool that they got this done with the orange box, because I never played Half-Life 2.
Oh, man. Well, that you can get that fixed now, dude.
Yeah, I went out to GameStop last night. I got it while it's still like $13 with the rewards card before they jack up the price. And yeah, man, I can't wait to dive into it and see what everybody experienced for the first time. I love going back and playing these things. And the Left 4 Dead series, another cult hit. Awesome on Xbox's part to get this done as well. I think, you know, it's good for everybody. It's good for all gamers out there. It's good for people that maybe want to go back and play this. And the people that just hate on this, I have no clue what they're thinking. It's either jealousy, or they're just so bored that they want to trash other people's, you know, enjoyment. It's disgusting.
Yeah, it is a bit disheartening when you see the nonsense. But you know, for the most part, I just keep scrolling. Like, I don't even click on it. I don't. In fact, I don't even answer it anymore. I used to be like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. Now I'm like, man, you know, it's everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's fine. Shan, I want to go to you, dude. You know, backwards compatibility is obviously an important service that the Xbox provides its fans. The one thing I will say about the Xbox One in this generation is that, you know, yes, we don't have as many games as the PlayStation, especially when it comes to first party. I have my stance and opinion is completely out there. It has been the biggest disappointment for me as a gamer, as someone who loves the Xbox the way he does. But their services are second to none. And I think that they are building a foundation based on their services. And you know, backwards compatibility is at the forefront of this. And you got to remember this for a second, folks. When you look at these retro consoles coming out, right? You know, you have your Genesis ones out there. You have all these you know, the mods that people put together. You have Nintendo making money. You have Neo Geo making money. PlayStation is getting involved. But Xbox, Microsoft allows players who support their console to play three generations of titles on that system, going all the way back to the OG Xbox. And that's, you know, that's not spoken about enough. In your opinion, do you think that backwards compatibility is still an important piece of Microsoft's, you know, foundation? And are you excited for any of these games?
Moving forward, Boom, it's a big It's a big thing. Like, this program is fantastic. It's like with Red Dead Redemption. I did not play that game until it came backwards compatible on the Xbox One. And when I played that, oh wow, what a game! And these games just got announced just now with 4K and enhancements. The only game I played, it was Left 4 Dead, the first one, and it was a scary game. It was a scary game, and I played like I remember. It's a free service. You're getting it's your old games working on your current gen. It's one box. You have your games. You have digital games if you had it from the 360 era, and you just bringing them along. How can you complain about a service like that? And it's for free, and again enhanced in 4K if you have the One X. It's fantastic, and one of the big games that I'm pretty sure if you remember, it was Fight Night Champion, the boxing game.
Yes,
When that got announced, me and my brother went crazy. Went straight to the local games store, got it for £6, and I really wish that game gets enhanced because we don't have a boxing game in this generation. It's a shame because I think it's due to licensing, very expensive. But when it comes to the service, it's fantastic for Xbox fans.
Yeah, I'm always, I have a lot of games. I have a lot of stuff in storage. Obviously, I have a ridiculous gamer score. It's well into the 200,000. So I've played a lot of games, but there are a lot of games that I never finished on the 360 that, like, for instance, Max Payne 3. I talked about it yesterday on the Xbox Factor podcast. It's something I hope comes back. I played maybe 5 minutes of it. I know the achievements were a little hard to get, but I really enjoy Max Payne as a character. So I would not only buy that game digitally, making money for whoever owns the rights for it, but I would play it like it was a new game. And quite frankly, it looked amazing. So I would definitely be excited for that. But, it does matter. This is a great service. It is a free service. I think, Shan, you said that is a big deal. A lot of people don't take, they take these services for granted.
Yeah.
Again, you have the disc and it becomes backwards compatible, pop it in and play. And that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, you can't beat that service.
No, you certainly cannot. But I want to move on to the next topic, and it's a good one. It's one that I'm excited about because there's a new rumor that Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite will be completely rebranded in the next upcoming update, which is supposed to come in early 2019. And apparently, the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters are being added to the roster. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this, last year in September, Capcom brought back the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, which is one of my favorite fighting game franchises. I happen to love Capcom. It's my favorite company. And I obviously love Marvel. So having them in the same game fight each other is something I've always been into, especially in the early Dreamcast games where that system was ruled by SNK and Capcom titles. So this is very very exciting for me as a fan. I bought Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It looked absolutely stunning. Unfortunately, it's currently sitting at a 77 on Metacritic, which I'm surprised considering how amazingly gorgeous it looks, and it does play very well. It's a Marvel vs. Capcom game. It is good, but it didn't do really well with the fan base. And why is that? Well, a lot of people didn't buy the game because the X-Men characters were removed, and Marvel did that in a power play to keep Fox from doing anything with their property. And now we obviously know that Marvel Disney owns Fox. So the X-Men characters will be coming into the MCU as well as the Fantastic Four. And in turn, that trickles down to gaming. And we are now going to get the X-Men and Fantastic Four characters in the new version of Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Now, I reported on this update earlier this year on my channel, and the information that I got was from the 4chan forums, and the source, the anonymous source that I got it from, is usually right. And he reported that it would be called Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the Uncanny Edition. And now we're hearing that it's going to be rebranded. So it might just be something with the Uncanny title. This new update is supposed to be, again, released in early 2019. Shady, we talked in the pregame about fighters. How does Marvel vs. Capcom resonate to you? And are you excited to have the X-Men and Fantastic Four back in this game?
When it comes to this game specifically, I haven't had an option to play it outside of just the free demo. My game share partner and I decided to pass on this one, and it was mainly because it's missing the X-Men, and that is my favorite part of Marvel is the X-Men. It always has been since I was young. I love that type of story that they have going on over there. Wolverine, I mean, he's the top dog. I love it. I'm glad that they're coming. I might actually be looking into this game now if they do show up, and it's a good move. I haven't been into Marvel vs. Capcom personally since like almost back in the Dreamcast days with that Arcade Perfect Marvel vs. Capcom port they had. I loved it, but I'm looking forward to getting back into this one as long as the rumors are true, because without the X-Men, it's just too much missing for me.
Yeah, I agree. You missed a sale. I think it was $14 on Xbox Live.
I'm sure.
I think, yeah. At the end of you'll get that big end of the year sale, and everyone will be able to take advantage. But Clowns, again, I don't know if you're into fighters, but you know, when you talk about the fighting genre in 2018, you have games like Soul Calibur 6, which is just about to be released or has been released. I don't know. You have Tekken. You have all the SNK games. You have Killer Instinct. Again, me and Shady, one of our favorite of all time. But, you have to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It was released in this generation. It did come out in early maybe late 2017. And it looks like it's getting a big update. And the biggest complaint was the missing X-Men characters, which are a big deal. OPS, by the way. What is your take on them finally getting it back? And do you think that this could possibly reinvigorate the fan base?
I think this is huge because, it reminds me of the days of Marvel vs. Capcom in the arcade when they actually had Juggernaut.
Yes.
If they bring back that Juggernaut, I'm all for this, man. That was like my favorite character, and I used to sit there and play that game over and over and over just to be Juggernaut. So I hope they bring him back. But yeah, I think this is awesome news for the fighting community. Awesome news for Marvel fans, especially. They can get back into this game finally with the X-Men. I'm not really caring about the Fantastic Four, but those X-Men, man, that's really what makes that game.
Yeah, it certainly does. Big shout out to Mario Sanin, who says Soul Calibur is out today, and UK Dazarus, who we know who he is, moderator of the universe, confirmed that as well. So yeah, Soul Calibur 6 out today. Another fantastic fighter. It looks really good. I want to get it. I don't know if I'm going to get it now. I probably will wait until a sale because it's, like I said, there's just too much stuff out right now. But Shan, I want to go to you to close out this topic. Marvel vs. Capcom really changed the way a versus fighting game was when it was made way back in the days. And the rosters on these games are usually just staggering. I mean, I think Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite had 70 players, which is just, again, it's crazy. It's just bananas that many characters. And now we could be potentially getting the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, adding a huge universe of good guys and bad guys, possibly topping 100 plus characters in this game. Are you excited for this update? And do you, what do you take on the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
I've never played it, Boom. As I've been growing older, I've kind of like fading out of the fighter games. The only one I do kind of play is still Tekken now and again. But for yourself, who's getting really excited, like X-Men is a big deal. It's the same with the Avengers movie. As soon as they got Spider-Man, everyone went nuts. As soon as you get like Disney's brought X-Men, Fox, whatever, everyone goes nuts. And I'm really happy for gamers who's been waiting for this for a while, and I really hope it delivers for them, such as yourself and other gamers out there.
You know what? You make a lot of points, a lot of good points. I'm excited for it. I do hope the fan base does come back to this game. Capcom as a company, they've been dropping bombs. I mean, let's call it like it is. If you're unfamiliar, and you probably heard me talk about this in mid 2016, Capcom was on the brink of going bankrupt. A lot of people don't know that. There was talk about Microsoft buying them and Sony buying them and Nintendo buying them, and that didn't happen. And something happened in 2017. A little title came out in the beginning of that year called Resident Evil 7, and it really reinvigorated the company as well as the franchise. And now and then in early 2018. We had Monster Hunter Worlds come out and shock the world, right? So the company is seeing a huge influx of cash, and now, of course, in early 2019, we have Resident Evil 2, the remake, which has already been labeled my personal game of the year, and obviously the return of the real Dante in Devil May Cry 5. Capcom has a bright future. I'm hoping that Marvel versus Capcom gets its crown back. And I'm excited to see what Capcom does with it because they are a phenomenal company. But I want to move on to the next topic. And I think this is going to probably run us into the end of the show because it's a big one. XO18 was just some more information came out that it's going to have special guests and big announcements. The question that I'm going to get to everyone's answer: could XO18 be Microsoft Studios' generational defining moment? When you talk about this generation, you look back to 2013. Microsoft had taken many missteps at that E3 that changed the Xbox platform with fans, hurt sales, and of course the respect of the gaming community that they got that they were used to from the Xbox 360 era, and everything came to an abrupt halt. Since 2013, there's been some changes, and since Phil Spencer has taken over at the helm, the future of the brand and the company is bright. But with the cancellation of PSX, this opens the door for Team Xbox to close out 2018 in a big way. During the monthly Xbox show, if you missed it, called Inside Xbox, Phil Spencer graced the show's presence, and he had some very interesting things to say. Now, you might have heard me talk about it, and if you didn't, here you go. He said two things that made my hair on my arm stand up as an Xbox fan. First party will be leading the charge at XO18. Okay, now I'm excited. But what sets me over, literally throws me over the edge, is third-party support will be there in a big way. Okay, now the question I have for the panel, and I'm going to go Shady on this first. What are you expecting, and what do you want to see at XO18?
I'm not expecting like a specific game title. Let's say, like, I mean, I expect Crackdown to be there, but nothing specific. I expect Microsoft to continue with the momentum they've been building since, in my opinion, the release of the S, and when they first announced the X, is when the brand of Xbox has really been starting to recapture some of that trust and fandom from the gaming world again. The media was starting to let up just a little bit, especially with the X. It came out this last E3. I think Microsoft just nailed it. They had the best show, bar none. They showed the most games. It was mind-blowing. They are spending money like it's going out of style, acquiring some of the top talent in the entire industry. They've bought 5 studios. Rumors are they picked up Obsidian and maybe more. Like, I just don't remember a time in gaming where I've seen a company go this hard on improving their brand and what they have to offer. I think this XO event is going to be huge. I am hyped, like big time hyped. I think Microsoft is going to come out firing on all cylinders themselves. I think they've got some good third-party support to come out there. And without Sony to doing anything, it's wide open, and it would be a huge letdown if they don't deliver. Like, I think that this is their chance to continue with this momentum and really show the world that they are dead serious about video games and delivering some of the best gaming experiences that we've yet to play. And I think they're going to start showing some stuff coming up in the future a lot more than what they were doing in the past as well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, I have a couple of rumors that I'm going to bring up after we talk about this. This is a very loaded topic. So if you're an Xbox fan, strap in your seatbelt because some big bombs are about to be dropped. Clowns, Microsoft limped out of the gate, if you will. And we all felt it as Xbox fans. And we have been reeling in it since. But I'm going to say this. Since E3, Microsoft fans have been walking on clouds, and for good reason. A lot of studio acquisitions, a lot of announcements, a lot of speculation, a lot of new things coming to the Xbox brand. We talked about the X Cloud may be shown off at XO18. This event came out of nowhere, and I talked about it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again. This industry, and you know it because Clowns, and I'm glad I'm bringing this up with you, personally, inside industry people. You know them. You've talked with them. Everyone knows what everyone is doing to some extent. The secret stuff is still the secret stuff. But I think it was well known in the industry behind the scenes that PSX was going to be canceled. And for Microsoft to make this announcement completely out of the blue, to have Phil Spencer show up on Inside Xbox, it shocked the world. It shocked me as a fan. Do you think that what they have up their sleeve is something really big and they're not taking any prisoners with this one?
There's a couple ways to look at this. I think that if you're a big fan of Xbox, you should be extremely excited because picking up more studios means more game development. If you're a fan of another company, you should be kind of concerned because what this means is if Xbox and Microsoft keep buying up all these game studios, right? When another first-party studio needs to outsource work, even if it's for, let's say, Sony or just a PC game, they're going to have to go through some of these Microsoft studios that got purchased, for outside work, third-party development. So it's huge for Microsoft in expanding their business empire, because they're holding a piece of the pie now. They're like getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and everybody's going to have to rely on them at some point. I think this is the ultimate plan with Microsoft and Xbox as a service, especially. As fans, man, we should be really pumped for the games coming out. We should be really pumped for these studios. It should be something really exciting for all of us. And to sum it up best, I think that if you are an Xbox fan or a Microsoft fan, you should follow Beastfire Tim Dog on Twitter and be as hyped as he is for this because he is super, super excited for this. And I don't have any inside information on this right now, but just follow Tim Dog and just be as excited as he is.
Well, Tim Dog, if you don't know who he is like the Xbox guy, right? And he does know Phil. He knows Aaron Greenberg. He knows a lot of the big wigs at Microsoft. He's gone to just about every E3 from what I understand. And he has been down on the brand, being a big fan. But lately, if you watch his Twitter, he apparently knows some things. And his excitement comes right through the words he's speaking. I'm excited. Shan, I want to know if you're excited. XO18 has the potential to for a year that was lackluster in first party to some people. I mean, Sea of Thieves, I still think was a success. State of Decay 2, I put about 60 plus hours into that. Loved it from start to finish. And now obviously you have Forza Horizon 4. That is a fantastic title. Playground games at their complete finest. So it wasn't a terrible year, but it might not be the strongest year for Microsoft as a platform, but this XO18 could be that exclamation point that the company needs going into the next generation. What is your take and your excitement for XO18? What are your expectations?
I'm not surprised with the hype train, Boom. Talk about an open checkbook. You're getting guys from Initiative, like guys from Red Dead, from God of War joining the team. You got Playground, you got Ninja Team. Like everyone, they're all hiring from the studios. Everyone, it's just a massive move. And coming into XO, and like Phil said, he was on the Inside Xbox, and he was talking about Rare Studio. We announced we acquired them there. So we are hoping for a few studios. Obsidian looks like it's a done deal. I'm hoping they buy Playdead, the guys who made Limbo and Inside. I'm not sure if you played Inside.
Oh, it's from start to finish, fantastic,
brilliant.
It's a masterpiece, that game. I really hope they buy them guys, and maybe a few others like Moon Studios or Playful or something. But going
MDHR would be a great studio to pick up.
Yeah, MDHR as well. Going to the games, I'm gonna lay out. I reckon the games you're gonna see you can see Gears
Yes.
5.
Yes.
You're gonna see Ori. You're gonna see Crackdown. You're gonna
God willing, we see Crackdown. Please show us Crackdown.
Hopefully, we're gonna see what Playground games what they've been doing. If it's a Fable game or if it's something else, and Ninja Theory. And like I said, they got special guests, and Phil has been Japan as well, visiting Japan and sorting things out with devs there. So could we see some Japanese games there as well? Maybe exclusive, or what comes first to PlayStation coming to Xbox now? It's good as an Xbox fan and as a gamer. The hype train is real. Xbox is doing things like it's never been done before. It's incredible. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to, but you know what? This is the part of the show that if you have a helmet, I suggest you put it on, because I'm going to be dropping effing bombs all over the place. Starting with, I don't know, do you guys remember a title called Ashen? Well, I certainly do. It's been on my radar since I saw it, right? Well, in a recent tweet from the developer, not only is Ashen coming out this year, I think it's going to be available the day XO18 is happening. And even more importantly than that, and Shady, this is right up your alley, it's going to go right to Game Pass for all the people that support and pay for that service. That's one of the big things.
That's co-op too. So Game Pass and co-op, they go hand to hand, man. When you don't have to try and convince your buddies out there to all buy a game you're into, they can just download it because they're already a part of that subscription. Beautiful.
Right. Now that in itself is fantastic.
Yeah,
One of the other, what was that, Shan?
I totally forgot about Ashen. That's 100%. It's going to be dropping the same day as XO18 in Game Pass.
Yeah, I believe it, but I got a little bit of inside information, if you will. Now, you take this with a grain of salt. I've already spilled the salt shaker. It's broken open, so salt all over my apartment, and it's driving me crazy. But this information comes to us via a tweet from Infinite DOK, and he tweeted to the creative director, Adam Isgreen, of the Killer Instinct franchise, and he said, are we going to see Killer Instinct 2 at XO18? And he favorited his tweet. Now, this is complete speculation, folks, but you know what? As an Xbox fan, as a Killer Instinct super freak, which is what I am, and I know Shady is as well, this could be big. But you know what? The bombs continue to drop, because also in a recent tweet, if you're familiar with some of the people at Rare, there was one of the Rare studio members had his bio on his Twitter account. Okay, and what he talked about, what he said he worked on, was all of your classic Rare games. Right, you had your Banjo-Kazooie, you had your Sea of Thieves, you had your Perfect Dark, but at the end of this bio that he had up there, he had Banjo 3E, and if you're unfamiliar, they had Banjo 1, Banjo 2E, and now, if you look at his account, it's been removed. And I actually saw a message from someone in Rare's official Twitter account that went, Paul.
Stop it.
Yes.
Goosebumps.
Okay, so goosebumps continue, but this is the biggest bomb. This might be considered a nuclear warhead. Certain Xbox insiders have suggested that Splinter Cell not only is going to be unveiled at XO18, but it's going to be explained as being an Xbox One exclusive.
Wow.
Now, these are big bombs I just dropped for the people listening, for the people in the chat, for the people on this panel. Shady, I have to go to you. If any or all of these things come true, could this conference be the defining moment for the Xbox platform?
I think so, man. Like I said, that they're on the up and up as far as just building momentum, and without any type of competition as far as shows go this time of year, man. If they come out swinging and deliver half of some of those rumors, this could potentially just be huge, going right into the holiday season as well, when everyone's in that buying mood, both for themselves and for loved ones and stuff. I think this could just be a real big turnaround for the Xbox brand, man. Like those rumors are fantastic. That Killer Instinct, oh my god, Splinter Cell, holy cow. Like Banjo-Kazooie 3, amazing. This could be monstrous. I'm hyped. If it doesn't end up being that, it's not the end of the world, and that's fine, but I'm not going to let it get in the way of my enjoyment. I love getting hyped about gaming, and these are rumors that I like to hear, man. This is good stuff. I'm all in.
Yeah, listen, you know, whether you know him or not, Sam Fisher is as important to gaming as Nathan Drake, Link, or Master Chief. His absence in this generation has been felt by all gamers, especially by me. And I think it's high time he returned to the platform. And here is a little bit more information that you might find tantalizing. According to an Twitter source, the voice actor for Sam Fisher was seen taking Spanish lessons for his next mission in Mexico. That's what the tweet said. Take it with a grain of salt or not. Michael Ironside could be taking Spanish lessons so he can address the community that is in Mexico. And if you don't know, Mexico is super pro Xbox. They're one of the biggest fan bases in the outside of the Americas. Oh, by the way, and so it's going to be a great time. Clowns, I got to go to you on this, dude. This is a lot of information I have provided. Listen, I'm going to say this. Yesterday's Xbox Factor podcast with the Welsh Gamer, I did not sleep the night before, almost like Christmas morning. I was so excited to get this news out there. I had to reiterate it today again because some people don't listen to that show, and I want to make sure that everyone knows about this. And more importantly, I wanted to get the panel's opinion. You're big into gaming. You know a lot of industry insiders. Just how big and how much momentum would Microsoft have going into 2019 if these rumors come true?
Well, if these rumors come true, Boom, that you mentioned, it's huge, especially a Banjo-Kazooie 3. If that was to happen, I mean, all bets are off because so many people would come over just to play Banjo-Kazooie 3. That thing is nostalgia, and that thing is like a drug, as Mooch would say. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie would pull people over. Huge for fan base, huge for hype, and huge for Rare, man. It'd be super huge.
Yeah, I am very excited to see where they take the franchise because we know that their continued support with Sea of Thieves, it's a game that they're going to continue to support for years on end. And you know what? Good on them. But you know what? This world needs platformers. I think they still have a place here. I'm excited because I'm a huge fan of Banjo-Kazooie. I was 24 years old maybe 25 when that came out. And I was playing it like most of the 10-year-olds and 8-year-olds that are now grown up listening to this show. So just as much as fun as you had, I was having. I love the character. I love the world. I love the colors. I love the music. I'm really excited, Shan. But I want to finish this topic with you. These leaks, these rumors, a lot of them, they don't come true. But you have to kind of just put the pieces of this puzzle together, right? XO18 announced out of nowhere. PSX canceled. Microsoft on an upswing since E3. Studio acquisitions being announced. The potential for this show to go back to 2013 and look at what Sony did at that particular E3. They won the generation with a video of sharing games. Yeah. They won the damn generation with that video, and I applaud them for it. That was ballsy. It was exciting. Even if you're not a fan, you have to tip your hat to them. But this conference has the potential to put Microsoft shoulder to shoulder with the Sony brand, where I think all the companies belong. I don't think anyone should be behind anybody. I think everyone should walk shoulder to shoulder and just be happy with that. But that's not the way business works. What is your take on XO18? And if these rumors are true, are you stoked to be an Xbox fan?
Boom, if these rumors are true, it's going to be crazy. The internet is going to melt. The Xbox fans are going to go, me, you, Shady, Clowns, everyone in the chat, it's going to go crazy. A Banjo game, and like I said, if that Splinter Cell is exclusive to the Xbox, I'm sorry, everyone's going to go fucking mental. I'm just telling you now, if they close the show with Splinter Cell and with all the other rumors, getting studios, the Banjos, Playground games, the Fable games, it's for the taking. Yeah. It's for the taking, and you know what? It's gonna be effing crazy. I'm telling you, if that Splinter Cell game, woof, I can't, woof, fucking goosebumps, dude.
Yeah,
if they get that game.
Yeah, if they close out the show, I'm hoping they don't. I don't want to have to wait to the end of it, because as the show goes, you're expecting to see these bombs, and I want them up front and personal. And then maybe they do the one more thing. You know what I'm saying? And we get like a Perfect Dark announcement or something like that. I mean, listen, look, and Shady, you said it. No matter what happens, no one's going to take away your excitement. And this is probably the most excited that I have personally been as an Xbox fan since leading up to E3. I knew they were going to do big things. I did not expect what they showed, what they purchased. Phil standing on stage with his chest out, proud to say that he bought 4 studios and they made a new one, a quadruple A. It's a great time to be an Xbox fan. But we have a few minutes before the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to shortchange the people that are in the chat now, and I certainly don't want to shortchange the people that would eventually listen. I like putting on a 2-hour show, so I'm going to give you another topic, and we're going to talk a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2. The monster from Rockstar Games has been quoted as being a 65, that's right, you heard me, 65+ hour campaign. And I don't think that includes DLC, and I certainly don't think that includes the side missions that we're all going to play. Shady, first of all, bang for your buck screams right out in front. But the quality, the gorgeousness of this game, if you will, this is going to be the swan song for Rockstar Games. What is your take on it, and are you excited for next week?
Oh my God, excited it doesn't do it justice. I am in orbit for my excitement with this thing. My God, I loved Red Dead Redemption 1. Something about, there's just not a lot of Western games out there, and it nails it. Just the gunplay, the way the guys are getting lit up and flopping around like a spaghetti Western of old. It's so good. And when they were given those stats about the details and the amount of content in this game, 8 feet stacked high worth of pages of dialogue. Every single character has 200 pages worth of written dialogue, 500,000 plus animations or something. 65-hour campaign, not side content, but campaign. Like, I'm almost afraid of this game because there's so many other awesome games out there that I want to play. But I'm not going to lie, it's going to be Red Dead all the time for a long time for me. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, when you talk about bang for your buck, a couple of games come into mind. For someone like you that plays Black Ops 4, you're going to put 60 plus hours. So your $60 is technically $1 an hour. Well worth it. Games like AC Odyssey. I bought the $100 edition. I bought the gold edition. I did because Ubisoft is one of my favorite companies. I like their brand of game, and I've already put over 100 hours. So I got my money's worth on that $100 edition. But this game seems, if it plays out the way I'm expecting it, it's going to be a game that we're all going to be talking about 100+ hours of investment. And when you buy the game for 60, or you buy the $100 edition, which yes, Boom did buy the $100 edition. Sorry, folks, Boom buys everything. It's just my way. I'm sorry. I'm going to get my $100 worth because I'm going to put 100 hours into this, probably, maybe even 200. Clowns, I want to go to you. You know, this game was delayed heavily a few times. And we know that when a Rockstar makes these delays, they're always for the better. And from the trailers that we have seen of this game, my God, it looks like it's real life. Everyone is interacting with one another. NPCs that you help or you don't help will come back to haunt you in the end. This screams game of the year. It's probably going to get it. It's probably going to break sales numbers. Are you excited for next week to finally get here?
Yeah, I can't wait. You know, Red Dead is a really cool game. It's a really cool series. Rockstar makes great games. I can't wait to dive in to this extensive single player story. I really hope it is like 80 hours plus because I love long single player games.
Me too.
And like you, Boom, I've been enjoying AC Odyssey and I've been playing it and I haven't even tipped the iceberg on the full story yet. I'm just going around side missions, exploring the world, seeing the rivers. And I can't wait to do this kind of stuff in Red Dead too, man. It's just going to be really exciting.
Yeah, it's I'm going to say this. What Rockstar did was more than just make a masterpiece, right? It's more than just an incredible Western, an incredible story. They single-handedly proved that single-player games matter, right? Remember that? No, multiplayer is where it's at. The death of single player was at the beginning of this generation, if you recall. And what they have done is basically gave you a banana sundae with all of the trimmings, and they just put the cherry on top by releasing this game. Shan, I know you're excited. You played Red Dead 1 on the Xbox One X. You had the enhancements. You got a taste of it in 4K. This game looks to trump the original 2 times over. How hyped are you for Red Dead Redemption 2 next week?
Dude, the hype is crazy. I'm telling you, when that game comes out, the world is going to stop. I'm telling you now. It's just the amount of detail, the work they put into that game. I know you and Clowns and Shady is playing Odyssey, and you guys are loving that game with the side missions and the story. And honestly, I think this Red Dead is going to destroy that game when it comes to the side mission and the main story. And look, really, what have they shown us? They've shown us like snippets of gameplay in like a 5-minute clip. They're not showing us like a good 5 minutes solid gameplay. And it's just it's going to be a crazy game. The hours going to be. I'm easily going to put 70 hours. Obviously, 65 hours is the story.
Right.
70 hours. I've got a week off as well.
Oh, so, wow. Perfect timing, dude. That works perfect.
It wasn't on purpose. It kind of just fell in.
Nice.
It's got lucky. So hopefully put a good 7-8 hours a day into that game. It's just.
Did everyone get a chance to see that launch trailer that came out yesterday?
Yes, I did. I watched it twice. Fantastic.
Unbelievable. Like, I remember when Grand Theft Auto 4 first came out on the 360 and they had their trailers, and my mind just was unwilling to believe that we could play that looked that good. Like, there's just no way. Sure enough, the game comes out, and it was just as good or better than those trailers. And then same with GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption, the first game. The trailers just looked so good. I couldn't, like, until it's in my hands. Yes. I can't believe these trailers. And every single time Rockstar has delivered what they have promised in these trailers, every time. So when it comes to Red Dead 2, first off, that first trailer blew my face just off, gone. And the biggest part for me was knowing that that was legit. That trailer, I'm like, it is going to probably just look better on my 4K TV than it does in the trailer. I didn't doubt it at all, and that drove my excitement up so high just because the level of detail and the tiny bit that they've shown, which is also fantastic. Yeah. Almost the most hyped up game, and there's no big spoilers, no leaked crazy gameplay on some shitty cell phone out there. Nothing. It's just all professional promotion material, and they didn't flood us with it. It's just enough. I think everyone is at the edge of their seat for this game, and it is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited. Go ahead, Shan.
Yeah. Look, you got guys, you got like a lot of, was it Pearson or something? What's her name? From, used to work at IGN.
Oh, Alana Pierce?
Alana Pierce. Alana Pierce, yeah. Look what she wrote. She went in with high expectations, and it still blew her away. You got your best mate, Boom. I know you're going to like this. Your boy, Jeff Keighley's here.
Yeah, good old Jeff.
Good old Jeff, yeah. Saying that for the first time in 20 years, Rockstar said to him, "What do you want to do in this game?" And it's just this is why I'm really hyped. A lot of people are underlooking the initiative. I really believe that the initiative is going to make a game like, I can't say on the same level as like Red Dead or GTA. I really do believe, and that's one of the main studios that I'm looking forward to when it comes to Microsoft.
Yeah, well, you know what? They have the potential. Yeah. I got to give a real big shout out and warm welcome and thank you to Butcher Van, who just dropped a $20 super chat in support of the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Dude, I can't thank you. Your generosity is second to none. He also put in the chat that FYI, there are 2,000 days of motion capture in this game. So yeah, it's going to be big. But you know what? This show was probably one of my favorites in a very long time. The chat, as usual, being policed by the sheriff himself, UK Dazarus, was nice and kind to one another. Like I said, in every ending show, I do greatly appreciate the love and respect that you show each other. My panel members, you guys are amazing. Some here on no sleep at all. So thank you, Shady, for that. And I hope everyone enjoyed the topics, but let's get to the outros. Shady, you are a guy that really put your work in this week on other people's shows. I super appreciate you being here today. I know that you've had some back issues, so sitting for 2 hours can be tough, but you did it, and I'm very appreciative of that. You are a major panel member and on the RDX podcast. I think that Dealer bringing you in was one of the best moves he made in 2018. Please tell everyone where they could find you on Twitter and what you're up to.
Well, first off, Boom, thank you so much for those kind words and for inviting me back onto the show. I love coming on to all these podcasts and going on to RDX every week on Tuesday and talking games with other gamers, man. It has been my lifelong passion, and finding this community almost 2 years ago was, I will say it was life-changing for me. I didn't realize such a thing was happening out there. Yeah. And man, was it good when I found it, and it instantly grabbed me. And to go from a relatively unknown nobody in the chats to being invited onto RDX was out of nowhere stellar. And I've had nothing but great times on all these shows. Thank you so much, everyone that has shown me the support and good feedback as well. I am So Shady on Twitter at the Sesh Empire. That is one word. On Xbox, I'm So Shady. Come by and say hi, introduce yourself. Maybe give me a little bit about who you are and stuff like that. What kind of games you like to play. You know, a lot of people are following me these days, and I'm not sure who everybody is. So stand out a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll game sometime and have a good one.
Yes, absolutely. Clowns, I have to go to you. Listen, you're the showrunner of the incredible Four Guys with Quarters. I caught the last week's episode, loved it from start to finish. I love your topics. I love the setup of the channel when I'm watching. You know, most of you guys are on camera. I don't think you were on camera this time around. But you know what? You're an important part of this community. In fact, you are an important part of plenty of other shows, Crossfire being one of them. You are Mooch's paisan from Florida. He's still leering for his bacon, egg, and cheese calzone. So we don't know. We'll work on trying to get that to Mooch, because Mooch likes to eat. But you know what? I appreciate you as a community member because you're honest. And that's hard to come by. And I do love your content. Please tell everyone where they could find you, bro.
Thanks, Boom. I really appreciate that. Every Thursday, it's around 5 or 5:30 now. We do Four Guys with Quarters. Just look it up. Daz is a moderator there as well. And this past week, we had Lord Cognito on from ILP. Next week, we're going to have King David on from ILP, Iron Lord's podcast.
Nice.
And we're supposed to be getting MK Ives on from Mixer in the future as well.
Wow.
So, yeah, check us out, man. We appreciate that. We're everywhere. Spotify, Google Play Podcasts, soon to be iHeartRadio as well. I've been working with them. So, yeah, we're just expanding.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, are you done, clowns?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. I thought you had something else to say. Well, you know what? We're going to close out the show with community newcomer. But listen, don't let that fool you. He has dropped some serious bombs on Twitter. Please give this dude a follow. He constantly is putting out, new information for the entire community and just asking for nothing. That is, of course, Sean786. Dude, this is your second episode. You killed it once again. I'm glad to have met you. I'm glad that you are a part of this amazing community. Please tell everyone where they could find you. And if you want to throw your gamer tag out there, do that as well.
Boom, first of all, thanks for having me on. When it comes to like podcasting shows, yours is one of the best shows, and the chat is, I would say, it's probably the best chat in the podcast. Like whoever has a podcast, during the week, and that it's an amazing chat.
Thank you, bro.
I'm serious, and you're a real as a coming, and you can follow me at Sean786 at the SP Gamer 786. And my Xbox Live tag it's the same, Sean786.
Nice. Well, listen, dude, you're a good dude. I'm glad to have met you. This panel was fantastic. We had almost 100 people watching. Another record-breaking show for me personally, being that this is a small channel. So to have that many people actually tuning in live is a big deal for me, and I'm ever going to be grateful for that. Once again, before we go, a thank you to the Super Chat donations, a big shout out to the chat, a big shout out to my panel, and everyone have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you next week. And yes, the fire department is coming to this building, hopefully not for me, because the show was fire from start to finish, but
too much salt.
Too much salt will always cause a fire. That is correct. Well, listen, everyone, have a safe weekend. Enjoy gaming. And I will see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Take care, everyone.
Peace.
Bye-bye.